And welcome back to the Hot Lap. And if you have been hiding under a rock, let's say, it's Lewis Hamilton's new team's 2024 car, or otherwise known as the Ferrari Launch today. Yes, as we know, Hamilton's joining them in 2025, but this is going to be the car and the basis on what will potentially be Hamilton's 2025 campaign and going forward. But currently with Charles LeClerc and Carlos Sainz in the pilot seat, is this Ferrari going to be any good? Well, Motorsport.com has put how Ferrari has cut the chase with its F1 design. We're not talking revolution, but it does appear to be an evolution. And its latest challenger, named the SF24, it hopes it's going to build on the progress. I don't really want to say success, but the progress that was made at the back end of 2023. Pretty much agree with them there. So delving into the changes. If you have a look and you see by these wonderful moving images, the side pods. Now, at the start of last season, Ferrari decided to hold firm and commit with what was these very pretty bathtub-style solutions. However, didn't work. So the arrangement was abandoned midway through last season's campaign, and we have kind of like a more hybrid version of this downwash ramp-style solution, as Motorsport.com reports. So, sadly though, due to the budget cap, kind of like Mercedes, they were stuck in this boat where they couldn't fully commit to this new evolution of what their cars should be. And the SF24 design is going to absolutely rectify that, allowing the team to basically fully embrace that performance advantage that they hope to get. Now, in terms of the undercut, which is further aligned by the adoption of the lower lip under by inlet design, first championed by, yes, that team Red Bull, the lower chassis bypass duct has reprised its role, outlet positioned alongside the rear leg of the halo. So it looks nice. It is mainly red, less of that black, and the side pods have improved. We've got the airbox and rollover. It remains faithful to its predecessor. It features a triangle inlet. The engine cover features the now almost shelf-like bodywork. Ferrari have also opted to include a cooling grille panel that will likely be altered depending on the level of heat at our Grand Prix. And what else, I hear you ask? Well, the nose tip represents the first in a bunch of subtle changes made to improve the aerodynamic tendencies, as it's both wider and taller than its predecessor. It results in a different interaction with the main plane. All geek stuff here from Motorsport.com, while the body thereafter will also emerge with the upper flaps on its own way. The front wing has been reorganised. I mean, for those without the technical knowledge, very much like myself, yes, it is quite changed from this time last year. But is it going to be enough? And here's the big question mark. Is that front suspension remains a pushrod on the SF24, but the position of the elements and the shape of the fairings have been mildly adjusted to better suit the characteristics. And it's the suspension that potentially could be most significant, because the suspension has been somewhat different to what the other teams have done so far when releasing their cars. And Ferrari have suggested that it's more aerodynamics than suspension, which is going to make their car faster, where the other teams have intimated that it's essentially a mix of both. But there definitely are positives. From Motorsport.com, LeClerc has said an initial feeling of the Ferrari SF24 is healthier. Feels a lot healthier compared to their last car. He had put in a handful of laps, albeit, handful, not that many, but he explained at the launch that his work on the simulator, it felt to him that the team had made a significant step forward, but it was too early to say if the real car correlated perfectly to what they're hoping. Now, comparing his feelings to last year's car, the 5-time Grand Prix winner revealed that it's more easy to drive, which could be very, very important. And he warned, however, that, again, this did not reflect the utmost performance that you're going to see in Bahrain. He said, I remember that after the first lap last year, or if it wasn't the first lap, it was the first 3 or 4 laps, I wasn't really happy with the behaviour of the car. The truth comes out now, doesn't it? And he said the car was very, very, that's 2 very's, difficult to drive. Now this year, the car feels healthier and in a better place. On the other hand, he said, I want to push on the point that it doesn't mean anything on the competitiveness on the car, because if the other teams have done a bigger step forward in terms of lap times gains, then it can be an easier car to drive. But if it's not fast enough, it won't be fast enough on track. So in terms of competitiveness, he said, it's very difficult. In terms of actual feeling of the very first laps, I would say I've had a better feeling this year than I did last year. Also, the Ferrari boss, that's good old Fred, he recounts a most difficult call with Toto around the Lewis Hamilton move. He's admitted calling Carlos Sainz to inform him of Lewis Hamilton's move to the skid area was far from easy. But, he said, one of the most difficult was his call to his Mercedes friend and counterpart Toto Wolff. Yes, they are firm friends. We see them, they used to travel quite a lot. And, yes, would have been awkward, wouldn't it? I'm stealing your star driver. Sainz also admitted his surprise at finding out Hamilton would be moving to the team to replace him for 2024, though he said he had several weeks to digest it before it became common knowledge. Now, addressing the move when speaking to the launch of this year's SF24 on Tuesday, the Scuderia team boss, he was asked more about the move for Hamilton, how it came about. Sainz was informed of the decision to not renew his contract for 2025 in favour of, obviously, Lewis. So, on Sainz and his performances, however, Vassar has no doubts that the Spaniard's commitment to Ferrari for the rest of the season, saying he's going to be fully supporting of his driver in that final season. He said, I'm fully convinced that Sainz is a very professional driver, that he understands that we have a long season in front of us and it's a huge opportunity. And he said, I think it's also a dream to be in this situation, to have the team behind him. I mean, we had a long discussion. As you can imagine, I will be fully supporting with Carlos. So, it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, we all know how close these two drivers are in terms of competitiveness. Yes, 2022 was an outlier, but 21 and 23, they were quite close when you look at the ultimate point. So, would it be a surprise if Sainz beats LeClerc? No. But I do think LeClerc should come out on top, especially if he's getting ready for that 7 times world champion next year. But I guess we are going to have to see on that one, aren't we? So if you liked what you see, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for subscribing, commenting. We try and get to all our comments here on the Hot Lap. We will be with you for more launches this week as we're getting ready for F1 2024. Thank you very much.